Hello everyone and welcome back to the final 9 holes of the 2020 Shelly Sharpe Memorial presented by Spinners on the Green. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, as we're at Vista del Camino, the XL layout, and the layout that you're going to see for the Memorial Championships that takes place in just about 6 weeks. And our players are getting a really good run on this track, so to speak. They've played 2 rounds. And as we're here on Sunday for our 3rd and final round, Adam Hammes appears to be in the driver's seat, but we've got about, obviously, half the course to go. If I do the math right, yeah, we've got 9 holes to go. Unfortunately for Drew Gibson, though, that's going to be out of bounds. Now, throughout the years, I've seen that path on the top right side, up where that biker just drove past. I've seen that played as inbounds and out of bounds, so I was a little bit surprised to see that as out of bounds here. Great adjustment by Josh Anthon. What a great roller here, putting himself in really good position.
Perfect, Terry.
Adam loves the effort by Minnesota's Terry Rothlisberger. Going to help that when things are going your way. It appears that he's doing just fine. Great shot there by Adam.
You gotta go.
Terry with a good line, but not enough power. So now Drew, after being out of bounds, brings himself in the 1 meter, but he's going to throw out and over the OB, and then that finally drops down, and thankfully it spikes right there. Again, with the angle, you could see that one get up and skip away. But it did sit for him. And Josh's shot looks good, but it's deceiving because that's almost 30 feet deep. This is his comebacker for birdie. Uh-oh. Josh trying to put together the highlight reel for me. So he's clearly outside of 30 feet with the jumper. And Drew able to still walk away with the par even with the OB stroke. Rothlisberger in for the birdie. And, well, Hammes is going to take a moment to clear out. He walks over there. He taps in from 2 feet. We go over to hole 11. Adam loses his hat, but puts a crush.
Thank you.
I've seen tournaments at this course for more than a decade. That has to be one of the longest drives I've ever seen on this hole. And Josh hits against the Mando tree.
I can't throw that on. Shut up, Terry.
Hey, what did I say? And Terry's keeping it low. Again, playing for the skip here is, I think, just something that the players really have to factor in, because sometimes it can be really fast and sometimes it's relatively sticky up there. And Drew throwing it into orbit. I was not expecting that, nor was my focus. And as they walked down the fairway, Terry had said, I threw about as far as Drew, and he threw a straight power hyzer. I feel as if that mandatory on that tree is new as well. Really trying to play for the safety component more than anything. That's to get the players to stay away from the sidewalk, to stay away from spectators, joggers, walkers, that kind of thing. And there is no relief from a mandatory. Josh confirms that with the group just prior to that you cannot take a relief from it. So that forces the forehand, and this one's very, very slick. Just getting past the next mandatory tree. Overstable forehand. That might be a Raptor. Josh was thinking about a forehand flick at this. Then Drew Gibson talked him into the jump putt. Those guys, good friends and have been competitors for a very long time. And Terry claiming the putt was ugly, maybe not his best effort, but that's why they say there's no pictures on the scorecards.
Pick me up, Drew. Can you pick it up?
Anthon asking Drew to just pick it up, as you would maybe in a friendly match. Unfortunately, not an A-tier or one that's on camera especially. Would that be a good idea? Josh rocking the 1983 in of a bag. Okay, maybe he's not 83, but he's old school. Doesn't care for the back straps. But he wants to show me his drifting video. So as he was walking over, he had video from when he did his first ever drifting. And he said he really enjoyed it. He's a car guy. And stay safe out there, Josh. So this tee pad has backed up slightly from where I've seen it in the past. But it doesn't seem to matter for Adam. Puts himself easily up there. Now, it's also a lack of wind coming in, and that looks to be pretty stable. That's going to fight back a little. Terry just really not trying to let anything possibly bail out to that left side as you're throwing uphill. All of these guys with plenty of power, but if you're going to make a mistake, make the mistake of going long and deep rather than coming up short.
That's a great shot.
And as said, nearly perfect shot by Gibson. And Josh had no turn on that at all, so he's playing pure hyzer. And if the red flag would have been raised there, I don't think anyone would have been surprised. He is flirting with the OB. He just didn't get any turn on that. And Terry will momentarily tie up Drew Gibson at that 16 under. It really looks like it's a race for second place right now as they're 5 behind Hamas. Okay, 6 behind Hamas. Josh, who's just inside the circle and just outside of the basket. Takes it in good stride.
Thanks for spotting, guys.
And I'll echo Drew's sentiments there. Thank you to all of the volunteers, the staff, the supporters, tournament sponsors. I know we've mentioned Sierra Nevada, Duke's Sports Bar and Grill, Discraft, Spinners on the Green, and then all my Patreon supporters are really who are making this coverage happen. And that is out of bounds for Terry.
That was a great shot.
He says it was a great shot. I beg to differ. And if there's one thing you learn as a cameraman, you'd think I'd learned by now that Drew is all about that power hyzer, the sky hyzer. Really lines that very few other competitors even think about taking. He goes up so much higher and can play different angles than you see from most players. Now, Josh gets just inside the mandatory there. So
If there was a drop.
Terry's going to move forward just a little bit off of the tee.
Sit down, hit something, stop. There you go. On your bench.
And that was going to be flirting with the OB for a second time, but he stays in bounds. And then he's going to have just a pitch up. So unfortunately, he's going to be walking away with a double bogey, it looks like. Here's Anthon with water directly behind him. He knows he's got strokes to make up. tickles off the chains. Oh.
No, you're safe.
Josh assumed it was OB. In fact, I did as well. But apparently he stayed in bounds. Yes, Adam. That's what it's like to actually miss for once. I know you're not used to it today as Drew's splashes out. But a rare miss by Adam. And Josh can bring it in 1 meter. Even when you're not out of bounds, there's your pro tip, folks. Anytime you are near an out of bounds line, even if you're not OB, you always have up to 1 meter that you can bring it back in bounds. Even if that brings you closer to the basket, as it did in this case. And speaking of closer to the basket, we're just going to skip the tee shots here. I had a little bit of a mental lapse while working my camera, apparently, and I only caught 1 of the 4 tee shots. So I just decided to bring them all in, all 4 players inbounds.
Go in. Sit down.
And Terry didn't realize it, nor did the rest of the group, that he's probably about 38 feet past the basket, and he actually did find himself out of bounds. And so it wasn't until we got up to the green did he even realize that. Drew, who had, no surprise, a real smash on this hole.
It's fun to play it, you know what I mean? It's like,
And I do remember somebody saying that the Phoenix Children's Hospital did the research.
And I know you can talk about inside or outside voices, but that lady was very loud as she's talking.
I applied on it Sunday. She got up. She moved up to Tuesday.
That was dumb. You missed a 25-footer.
So this is Josh for his birdie after we've seen a few missed attempts. He's going to pick up a stroke. And Drew also takes the birdie. So 2 birdies, the par and the bogey, then by Rothlisberger, assuming he converts here. So a little scoring separation. There is a mandatory that is on the tee of that green, on the tee of this hole. I'm sorry you missed it. I believe that's also new, taking away the hyzer, the direct hyzer right off of the tee. So we move over to hole 15. There's always a little bit of a weight on this hole. And again, just a crush by Gibson. Josh was ready to throw. I wasn't. I tried to pan back to the tee, but he's already on it. And he throws a shot that almost matches Drew's perfectly in terms of the end result. And this is the first roller we've seen by Hammis here today. And that's going to be up and to the right, also in that same neighborhood, as we saw from the previous 2 guys. And Terry's forehand just so effortless.
Thanks.
Quickly, I want to again thank Spinners on the Green, Sierra Nevada, Duke Sports Bar and Grill. So you guys are all huge supporters of the tournament.
You wanted your stepper. You wanted your stepper.
And caddy and on the bag is Jordan Castro telling him, well, you wanted your step putt. Well, now he's going to have a chance for one.
Nice shot, Adam. Hell yeah.
Oh, well, we don't need all the profanities. Come on. And don't underestimate how difficult this shot is for a few of the players. Josh is really approaching and walking downhill while trying to throw a shot. So to have the correct angle of release and the speed, all while your footing is going downhill, just like Drew's doing there, is not as easy as they're making it look. And Drew is a little short, but really well executed shots by these guys. Terry was ready, but just draws metal. Drew, what seemed like almost an extra hitch or hesitation there. And if he's missed anywhere, it looks like he's been high on any of his missed putts today. And he does make the comebacker, which was probably about the same distance. He remains at 18, and now he's going to be down 5 strokes to Hamas. Remember, he just started a single stroke behind Adam. And Anthon with the bag on his shoulder hits the birdie as he moves to 13 under. Moving on, just a few left to play here at the Shelly Sharpe Memorial. He's claiming it's going to be OB. Hits right next to the pin.
Thanks.
And just a few feet inside of the road, or short of the road, I should say. So he's inbounds at almost exactly pin high.
Fuck was that?
And that was not, really not probably the angle more than anything. I know he got the big skip. He could play for that, but not really the angle that he was going for, as he finds himself out of bounds. He's got a 5-stroke lead, though, with just 3 holes left to play. And Drews is drifting left. A little tree love's going to keep him inbounds as that sidewalk is OB on the left.
Oh no.
And that needs to stay up top and not flip over and roll, and it stops for him.
I thought it.
So Adam just playing it smart, putting it next to the pin. There's no reason to go for the hero par save there. And this can be really dicey as you're putting uphill, because if you draw metal and it hits, there's a really good chance of it getting on edge and rolling back to either where you are or past you. Oh, count it. He knows he's got it right out of his hand. Huge birdie by Terry Rothlisberger. Gets the love from Drew. And Josh with his bag still on his shoulder. Death putt downhill. I wasn't even ready or in position yet because I assumed he was going to put his bag down. He doesn't need to. And he goes back-to-back birdies. And Drew will clean up for his par. So just like that, Josh has pulled himself within 4. Rothlisberger also within 4 of second.
You gotta film it?
Yep. Josh originally thought about going to one knee and throwing his shot. And then he confirmed that I was filming. Yeah, Josh, that's what I'm here doing, buddy. Back-to-back effortless forehands. Drew's lining up for a forehand as well. We've got the chase card on the tee of 18. I like bewildered. Not sure what to do. So Gibson is out of bounds. Hamas makes sure he's going to clear the light pole by a mile. No, sit down. Stay in bounds. All right, so as we saw, a couple of forehands, no backhand, surprisingly. Drew gets up and throws right away. I want to know, what would your approach be here on 17? You go with the forehand and try and play the angle to the green, or do you go with a light backhand, maybe something like a putter or a mid, and play it up softly? I'd like to know what you would do here on 17. Josh gets the turkey, 3 for 3. And Adam had said, he's like, I'm not messing with this. Josh let me know he's got another birdie.
Look it up.
Bagputt.com. I'm not sure that's a thing yet, but it should be. I think I do own JoshAnthon.com actually. Birdie for Rothlisberger. And Drew is going to give up 2 strokes to both Terry and Anthon by taking the bogey. And just like that, things are really tight for second place. Thank you to all my Patreon subscribers.
Put on a real show.
Yeah, just don't take off your bag and you make everything.
Cool.
Do an interview on the light pole here. Don't be shy. People want to know what's in his mind after hitting the only little thing.
He put quite a dent in it.
That's
Never happened before.
It looks like Drew Power.
It's like Drew Luck.
So Josh has 3 consecutive birdies, all with his bag on his shoulder. We're moving on to the very treacherous hole 18. We just watched someone card an 8, I believe. And the basket is in line with the tree. You can just barely see it.
Nice throw, buddy.
Some polite hecklers
Hit the
as
tree.
they pass by. And the mistake to make here is to go out of bounds exactly just like you see there. Really coming up short and being in the water is only going to double or triple penalize you. If you're going to miss to the left up near the pin. And that is about 25 or 30 deep of the pin. Drew trying to play that high spike. And just way too much on it. That's going to finish left and out of bounds, but he'll have a good look at possibly saving his par. And he very quickly steps up and saves the par.
So that was for second.
Yes.
Me? You would have missed it. Me and you had a chance of time.
Oh, heck yeah.
So Drew is informed that will secure his second place finish because Josh was thinking if he could pick up 2 strokes on him on this hole, he might be able to squeak in there or past him. Josh moves over with his bag on his shoulder. Drew won't let him take the bag off his shoulder, even though he's got a 30-footer with the tree in his way. And he banks it. Bag on the shoulder. 4th straight birdie to finish. And Adam Hammes trying to close it out with a very decisive win. First A-Tier of the season. Congratulations, Adam Hammes of Team Discraft. Nice work. And I'm certainly looking forward to seeing you guys at the Memorial in just a few weeks. We're going to close things out with a pro tip from Josh Anthon. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. We'll see you at the next one. Thanks, guys.
Bag putt.
4
Try
straight
it.
birdies with the bag to
Yep.
finish.
Got to.
What
That's
is
the pro tip.
That's the pro tip. That's what's in my bag.
Bagputt.com?
Oh, yeah.
How do you recommend people go out and practice that?
Well, it's pretty simple. Don't take your bag off, don't think too long, and putt it right in. Good shit with you.
Hey, pleasure, man.
Oh. He went to prison.
Thanks, buddy. Good set.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm going to hit the road, though.
You're out?
Yeah.
Back to Kelly.
Yeah, back to Cali.
Catch the next one.
I'll do the score real quick and then be out.
And per request, here's the scores for your top finishers at the Shelly Sharpe, presented by Spinners on the Green. Again, thank you guys for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks.